my God, here we go again. Men talking about stuff that's gonna help them be free. This is an Infinium podcast, which is entitled The Life After. The life after what? What does that mean? Oh my God, these men, I just wish I could get them to shut up.
My brothers, welcome to the 7th edition of the Infinium podcast. And as always, my brothers, thank you for listening to my content, reading my posts, and most of all, your consideration of my content as an aid to your walk along the MGTOW pathway, the pathway that saves our lives as MGTOW men in every way possible. Now, my brothers, I have basically been in a think analyzation mode for a long time. I would say since the beginning of this year, in particular, because of all of the shifting and the things that are going on in our society, the great shifting that has affected we men and also which has affected the feminist plantation state. And it is because of that I have been focusing more on the quality of my content as opposed to what YouTube wants me to do in terms of having quantity but little quality. So in this case, you will see me more focused, for instance, on writing, because I feel that a written post will better address the topic that I am dealing with. And then you will see me switching up to a mode of doing videos and everything. So basically, again, this is because of the think analyzation mode. And of course, me just sitting back and watching and looking at things, thinking about things before I actually put something out in the form of a video or a post, that type of thing. But again, the focus is to help men and not to, quote unquote, do something which will, quote unquote, pump up the volume in terms of what YouTube wants, in terms of what YouTube thinks is best for the type of channel that I have. But in any case, my brothers, again, I thank you for the support of my content overall. And without you, this channel would not be in existence, and I would not have been able to do what I have been doing for going on now 8 years. And so again, this is the 8th year of me putting out primarily MGTOW related content. Now, my brothers, I want to talk to you about the life after. And this, of course, is not the life after death. It is the life after you become a MGTOW. And what I want to do here was to focus in on both a new MGTOW and as well a older MGTOW. Again, a MGTOW man who is just starting out along the MGTOW pathway, and as well an older MGTOW who has been on this pathway for quite some time. Now, my brothers, once you cross the line from the life before to the life after, and again, this is the life before you were a MGTOW, and then you cross the line, and this is the life that you face now as a MGTOW. There will be two main types of things that will happen to you initially, and that is a dichotomy phase and as well a shift in dynamics phase for you. Now, both of these phases, the dichotomy phase and the shift in dynamics phase, are because of what has brought you to the point of crossing the line, going from the life before to the life after, and that is the red pill process. The red pill process itself can be like what is depicted in the first Matrix movie, where you wind up really seeing for the first time in your life the world as it truly is. And because of your decision to start along the MGTOW pathway, it will at that point begin a dichotomy phase and as well a dynamic phase, a shift in dynamics for you. Now, the dichotomy phase is, again, you begin to see the reality of your life before versus your life after. And in the initial stages, there can be all types of things that happen to you, such as red pill rage, such as having remorse, all these types of things. But you will, as a new MGTOW, you will face the dichotomy phase of looking at your life before and looking at your life after, the life ahead of you as a MGTOW man. Now, at this stage of the game, there is, of course, the pulling from your life before to come back to it. And there is the pulling of your life after to stay on the pathway that you're on. And your life before is, of course, pulling you back to the way things were versus your life ahead of you, pulling you towards what at that point is not seen. And that is your future as a free man. And that dichotomy alone can be tough on a man because there will be questions in your mind. Am I doing the right thing? Am I going along the right path, or am I being an asshole, so to speak? All of those things will come up in your mind in terms of the life before versus the life after, the life that you now have as a MGTOW man, as a new MGTOW man. As a new MGTOW man begins to age, because of the dichotomy phase, the line that he crossed from the life before to the life after starts to crack and widen to the degree that as a MGTOW man ages, that line becomes a chasm between the life before and the life after. And because of the dichotomy phase and this chasm forming, a new MGTOW man must begin to determine in his heart at that time that the only way to go is to go forward into the life after and to discover what it truly means to be a free man. Now, saying that and actually doing that is two different things, my brothers, because again, it is easy to say that, but to live that lifestyle with a chasm that is forming, that is building, becoming wider. Every day you walk forward towards your freedom, my brothers, it is not easy, because there will be a point that you realize as a MGTOW man that that chasm is so great that it is almost impossible to cross back into the life before. And it is at that point that you realize as a MGTOW man that you must go forward no matter what. And going forward, my brothers, again, as a MGTOW man, as many of us older MGTOWs really realize, it is at points not an easy thing to do. And this is what I would ask young MGTOW men to understand, that what you're doing, what you're embarking on is, yes, worth it, but it takes fortitude, my brothers. It takes fortitude. It takes the understanding that you will most likely not be able to go back to your life before because of what you are doing, and that is walking towards your freedom. And this is even if your life before was somewhat pleasant, somewhat enjoyable, but something happened to you where you red-pilled, where you opened up your eyes and you saw a world which was not worth it in terms of being a man in that world, in terms of being a man who could be free. And now you are walking towards a future which is unknown, because it is a future that involves discovery, involves learning about yourself, learning about who you are as a man. Again, because of that dichotomy process, because of that chasm that is forming, you will find it almost impossible to go back and to go back to what you once were. Now, the other aspect that will happen with the dichotomy phase is the dynamic phase. And the dynamic phase will happen in conjunction with the dichotomy phase. And so when I'm talking about dynamics, that is anything like family dynamics, work dynamics, friend dynamics, any type of association that you had involving any type of interaction dynamic in your life before versus your life after when you decide to walk along the MGTOW pathway. Now, particularly from the sense of family dynamics, you can, of course, have a Leave It to Beaver family where there is acceptance of your decision to become a MGTOW man and you don't face a lot of opposition. And yes, it is possible to have a Leave It to Beaver type of family where there is general acceptance of who you are as a man. There was understanding, for instance, from your father that feminism is so bad that it is not a good thing for a man to marry, that type of thing. But most likely, my brothers, and again, for men who are new MGTOWs, you will face the dynamics of your family and you will discover, again, how dysfunctional your family is. And you will discover in certain cases that because of the dynamics of your family, because of what has occurred in the life before, that your upbringing as a man, how you were raised as a boy to how you are presently as a man, that again, your upbringing as a man was faulty. It was faulty in the sense that it did not train you how to be a true free man. And again, because of the dynamics phase, because of what happens in a family dynamic, and especially in this time that we face, because of the feminist plantation state, because of feminism, because of all of the effects of what feminism has done to families overall, you will most likely realize that there is great dysfunction in your family. There is great distortion in your family. And you, as a MGTOW man who has gone through the red pill process, who has gone through the dichotomy phase, the actuality of what is now seen by your eyes, which are newly open to the reality, the true reality of how things are, you will see, in most cases, the great dysfunction and distortion of how you lived in a family dynamic in your life before. And you will find, my brothers, and again, particularly for my younger brothers who are now MGTOWs, who have made that decision, again, to go the route of a MGTOW man, you will find that the acceptance of your decision, because of, again, the dynamic phase happening and the realization of the distortion and the dysfunction in your family, for instance, because of feminism, because of the feminist plantation state, narcissism among women is out of control. You will discover, again, that your female family members are all narcissists, my brothers. That's how bad it can be. You will undergo the pressure, and that is anything and everything from the pressure to carry on the family name in terms of having children, in terms of getting married, to continuing your role as being a black sheep or a scapegoat in your family. And you will discover as new MGTOW men that because of, again, the dichotomy phase and as well the dynamic phase, that the dichotomy phase and the dynamic phase work hand in hand. And because of the widening chasm being caused by the dichotomy phase, the dynamic phase will undergo a mindset or mentality shifting process. And that is your mindset, your mentality shifting away from what was beforehand, your life beforehand, and your mentality and your mindset becoming drastically different from the dynamics that you face. The family dynamics, the friend dynamics, the workplace dynamics. Here you will find, again, that you, as a new MGTOW man, and going forward as you age as a MGTOW man, that you think differently, that your mentality and your mindset is drastically different from those that are around you, those that are in your family, those that are your coworkers. The shift in your mindset, in your mentality, because you are on a pathway that is taking you towards your freedom, will only add to the chasm that is growing between the life beforehand and the life after. That is why it is difficult to go back to the life that was beforehand. That is another aspect of it, my brothers. What this does, my brothers, in terms of the shifting of your mindset, your mentality towards that of freedom, it causes more problems in the dynamic phase. So, for instance, if again you are in a family which has great dysfunction, where there's a reliance upon you being the scapegoat of the family, any type of dysfunction, any type of issue that is there, your decision to red pill, to become a MGTOW, to have that change in mindset and mentality will cause great problems within that type of family dynamic. It will also mean in your workplace that there's a change and shifting in how you associate with your coworkers. If you are working in a place where you have to interact with, in particular, women, or you interact with who you are finding out to be men that are simps, so to speak, you will encounter in that dynamic, my brothers, as MGTOW men who are beginning on the MGTOW path, great difficulty in talking to those women, in talking to those men who you are now finding out are simps, my brothers. You will find in the dynamic of friends that your friends will, quote unquote, fall away. Because again, the shifting of your mindset, your mentality to a man who sees that his freedom is important to him, that will happen to you, my brothers. That is, again, another reason why you, as a new MGTOW man, must realize that the walk along the MGTOW pathway can come with some negative consequences. So, for instance, if you look at your life and you were particularly a gregarious type of person, you were outgoing, but again, you red pilled, you opened your eyes, you saw the nature of your freedom, you saw the importance of your freedom, and you began to walk along the MGTOW pathway. And again, because of the dichotomy phases and the dynamic phases, plus the consequential shifting of mentality, of mindset, you will find yourself as a new MGTOW man being unable to communicate with those that are around you, being unable to get those that are around you, your family, your coworkers, your friends, your homeboys, so to speak, to comprehend what your eyes now see, what your eyes are open to in terms of your freedom. And you will find that particularly in a family dynamic where, again, there is dysfunction of some sort, that all of those things, again, the dichotomy phases, plus the dynamic phases, plus the mindset shifting, plus the mentality shifting, will cause you to be put into a place where you are considered to be crazy, so to speak. You will find that as well, and particularly if you are a believer in Christ who regularly goes to church, that your pastor will condemn you because of, again, the mindset and mentality shifting that has occurred in your life, which is now pointing you towards what you should be as a man, and that is a free man. And my brothers, the reason why all of that happens, the reason why, again, the issue of you being called crazy, being demonized, being put down as a MGTOW man is because of what you are now. You are a free man, and you have shifted away from the mindset and the mentality of being a slave. The main aspect of going through the shifting, the changing, the phases is the realization that your former life, the life beforehand, was based upon your slavery. That is why the chasm between your life beforehand and your life after will widen incomprehensibly so as you walk along the MGTOW pathway. One of the things that you will find as a young MGTOW man who ages is that your life beforehand was filled with lies, and in some cases deception, in many cases distortion of who you should be as a man. And that again only adds to the ever widening chasm of your life beforehand versus your life afterwards. That is why, again, my brothers, as time goes along, it becomes almost impossible to cross that chasm into your life beforehand. And if you do manage to accomplish that feat of going back to your life beforehand, you will find that your life beforehand can never resume in the same manner of what it was, because you are forever changed as a man, whether you admit it or not. Again, if you made it back to the other side of that chasm, whether you admit it or not, internally, you knew what it was to be free. The other aspect of it is that crossing back across the chasm will be held against you. For instance, if you are in a family dynamic wherein you were a scapegoat and you managed to cross back over that chasm and resume your role as a scapegoat, whenever there's an issue that is brought up in the family dynamic where you are a scapegoat, that traversing of the chasm and you openly becoming a MGTOW and then coming back to that scapegoat role, that will be held against you. You will not escape the persecution that is added upon you. And it will be, oh, you had that episode in your life. Oh, you had that issue. And oh, we told you that something was wrong with you. You should have gone to the psych ward. And it will come up. Even if you don't have a quote-unquote dysfunctional family and you have a leave it to beaver family in terms of dynamics, that issue of you crossing back and forth can be brought up against you if there is some kind of family issue or problem wherein there is a need to blame you for that issue or problem. The other aspect too is the issue of marriage itself. A MGTOW man cannot be married in no way, shape, or form. Now, one of the reasons is because of what marriage is. Marriage is a scam. And if you look at the issue of marriage, you will see that it is a trap to destroy men and nothing more than that. But my brothers, a MGTOW man cannot be MGTOW because of what marriage is. Marriage is slavery, and a MGTOW man therefore cannot go his own way because of the slavery. And regardless of how a woman says she will submit to you as a man, she is in control of your life because of what backs her up, and that is the feminist plantation state. That is the powers that the feminist plantation state gives her. And even if she says she is not a feminist, she can still destroy your life. She can still wield power, great power over your life. And she can control your destiny as a man. This is why you cannot be a MGTOW and be in a marriage to a woman. As well, being a MGTOW is fully incompatible with cohabitation with women and also actively dating women for the purpose of fostering a long-term relationship with a woman. You should also consider that being a MGTOW severely negates interactions with women in general in every possible way. Here again, it is the aspect of the great power and control over men that the FPS and feminism affords all women, which makes it virtually impossible for MGTOW men to have serious relationships with them. So therefore, again, you cannot be a MGTOW and be covertly or overtly in a serious relationship of any type with a woman because of these things, because of the feminist plantation state, because of feminism. And that is, again, even if the woman you are involved with adamantly says that she is against feminism, she still has the power to control your life. And you will find, because of, again, the mindset and the mentality shifting that has occurred in you, that you will see where even that woman that says that she is against feminism, that she will submit to you, that she is doing things covertly, underhandedly, to undermine you, to disrespect you in some cases, and maybe even sizing you up to divorce rape you, my brothers. Now, moving on and speaking about the growth that a young MGTOW has and will go through. And this is primarily to address all stages of a MGTOW man's life, young to old. One of the things that a MGTOW will encounter from time to time is the issue of rumination, and that is looking back at the life that was before. And for example, becoming angry about the lies that happened to you, the distortion that you had to go through, the persecution, all these types of things. Like, for instance, again, you went to the pastor for questions about what you were seeing as a free man, what you were understanding, what your mentality and your mindset was beginning to comprehend. And that pastor lied to you and condemned you and said that you were demonic because you refused to marry. You refused to go out and quote unquote do your duty, do something like taking care of a single mother, that you had no right to be a single man. You will find, my brothers, that when you think about these things, you think about what was done to you, the lies that happened to you, the things that were done to you in the workplace, the things that were done to you in your family, there will be a tendency to ruminate and to, in some cases, maybe have the reignition of red pill rage. My brothers, this is where, and in particular, I would speak to older MGTOW men, and that is inclusive of myself, to stop looking at what had happened in the past and stop ruminating about what happened in the past. And again, focus on where you are going. Yes, those things happen. Yes, the lies happened to you. Yes, the condemnation happened to you. And it is going to, in terms of the condemnation, that is going to persist for the rest of our lives. As long as the feminist plantation state exists, as long as feminism exists, the aspect of condemnation is going to exist for the rest of our lives. But to ruminate, but to waste time, so to speak, in thinking about what was done to you. And yes, there is the consideration of some of those things that were done to you were horrible. Like you being put into prison because of a false allegation that you did the right things, but yet you wound up in the Motel 50. Nevertheless, my brothers, the point of not ruminating and not wasting time in ruminating is forgetting about the past and looking at what is your future. Because the rumination will cause you, and this is speaking to all MGTOW men, whether you are young or old, the rumination will cause you to waste your time. And more importantly, it will cause you to miss out on things that you are discovering about yourself in terms of the mindset shifting, the mentality shifting towards your freedom, my brothers. That's what's important. Yes, those things happen to you. Yes, the terrible things happen to you. The ugly words, the condemnation, the being isolated. All of those things happen to you. But my brothers, nevertheless, you must not ruminate and waste your time in ruminating and concerning yourself about the past, because the past is over with you. And because of the pathway that you're on, you are on a pathway of discovery, a great discovery of who you are as a man, who you truly are as a man. Not what the feminist plantation state says that you should be, not what feminists say that you should be, hypocritical women, simps. You are on a path of discovery. And that discovery takes a mindset and a mentality that looks forward instead of ruminating and looking back and being in a cycle of regret, anger, because that's what ruminating is. Being caught in a cycle of thinking about the complexities of why these things were done to you in the first place. And it is that being caught in a cycle which will cause you to stumble along the MGTOW pathway in every way possible if you allow it to. You must consider also, as a MGTOW, that causing rumination is a powerful tactical weapon which is used upon we men by women. For instance, women who divorce men commonly use a logic bomb tactic in combination with serving their husbands with divorce papers. Here, women time the serving of divorce papers at a point where they think will forever bond men mentally to the place, time, date of when the divorce papers were served upon them. Like after a wonderful vacation wherein the woman treats her man as if he is the love of her life. This results in the creation of a logic bomb, which, because of rumination, that detonates every year at the time of when the divorce papers were first served. My brothers, what fully defeats a logic bomb is a divorced man moving on with his life. This is evidenced in women who divorce their husbands flipping out once they find out that their exes are moving on with their lives. It is also why, as a MGTOW man, you should strive to focus on moving forward with your life after, rather than ruminating about your life before. Again, looking forward to what betters you as a man, looking forward to what makes you truly free as a man. That's what's important. And that I would say to all MGTOW men, regardless of your age, whether you are a young MGTOW or an older MGTOW, to allow yourself to focus on what is your future. Because again, you will not be able to go back to the life before as you age as a MGTOW man. My brothers, when it comes to rumination, the one key factor that can help you is not understanding why a woman took that particular action against you. It is more of a case of what is causing that woman to take that action against you. My brothers, the one key fact that we must understand about women, and in particular westernized women, is that there is some level of hypocrisy operating within their lives. It can be extreme, it can be minimal, but again, there's a level of hypocrisy that is in operation in many westernized women. That, my brothers, again, it leads to the understanding of what is causing women to act like this, to understand the type of rules for thee, but not for me type of parameter which women operate under. So again, once you understand the level of hypocrisy that is in operation in the lives of many westernized women, you will see that even in a Leave It to Beaver type of family, you will see again the hypocrisy, the types of things that are done to you because of that hypocrisy. And you will see that because of all of the factors involved, the dichotomy phase, the dynamic phase, the mentality shifting, the mindset shifting, you will begin to understand what is causing your mother to quote unquote gaslight you at the same time that she says that she loves you. And you will understand at that point that any form of gaslighting, because you are a MGTOW man, because you understand who you are as a MGTOW man, that you deserve respect and dignity even from your mother, that gaslighting that your mother is engaging in is disrespect of you as a man. And my brothers, the hypocrisy that is within the lives of many westernized women is being pushed forth, is the ground plane of what is happening to them in terms of the types of things that they are doing, the types of activities that they are doing, the things that they are doing to men. And these things are being driven by, of course, feminism, the feminist plantation state, and the powers that women derive from the feminist plantation state, feminism. And again, even if a woman says she is anti-feminist, she still has the capability to operate in hypocrisy and to do things, to be fickle, to be untrustworthy, to do anything and everything without any type of taking accountability because of, again, the powers that the feminist plantation state, feminism, and the backing of said feminism and the feminist plantation state. She can do anything and everything to you. And so, my brothers, again, the opening of your eyes to these things will show you that it is not likely as a MGTOW man that you will ever have a relationship with a woman for the rest of your life because of how deeply entrenched feminism is in our society. And that even when women come out and say that they are anti-feminist and that men deserve better, that you will see, because of your understanding, that the things that they're saying are hypocritical lip service and have no basis in terms of helping you, in terms of allowing you to be a free man in this society, my brothers. That's what you will see. And that's what will, again, cause that chasm between the life before and the life after to grow even wider, my brothers. One of the things that will also happen to you, my brothers, is the automatic enforcement of boundaries, because you will understand as well that, again, you deserve respect, you deserve dignity, but my brothers, you deserve to be able to chart the course of your life because you are a MGTOW man. Now, for instance, my brothers, if you look at women who are now saying that they believe that feminism is wrong, that we men who are MGTOW, yes, because of what has happened to us because of feminism, these women are saying that they are now on our side. They understand why we are MGTOW, blah, blah, blah. But my brothers, if you look at specifically what these women are doing, you will find that they are using a tactic called reverse counterflow logic. Now, on face value, if you look at reverse counterflow logic, it may seem like a form of doublespeak. And doublespeak, briefly, is to create a condition of confusion. But my brothers, reverse counterflow logic is more insidious than that, because what it does is take two opposite ends of the pole. So that being one pole being a woman and the other pole, the opposing pole, being you as a MGTOW man. And here it is the insidious nature of what a woman does when she's using this tactic. And that is to pull you to the middle ground of the two poles. So to pull you into the middle position of the two poles. Pull you off of your opposing pole to the middle ground. And it is not to help you, but to cause a condition of compromise in your embracement of the MGTOW philosophy, wherein she can pull you onto her side of the pole. And that's why it is insidious. That's why it is a dastardly type of tactic, because it is not meant to help you. It is meant to destroy any boundaries, any type of personal gatekeeping, anything and everything that the MGTOW philosophy affords you as a man to protect you from the effects of feminism, from the effects of what women can do to you because of feminism. Again, when she accomplishes the goal of pulling you to the middle ground, and how she does that is the type of, yes, I understand feminism is wrong, but she will say to you, being a MGTOW is an extreme, and it's too extreme. You have to come to a point of compromise. That is the only way that this problem, this gender war, this issue between men and women, that is the only way that this can be resolved. And you will notice that she does not move from her position. She forces you to move from your position of strength, of capability, of authority, of the sure and solid foundation of your freedom to the middle ground of compromise. Again, she does not move, but she requires you to move. And that, my brothers, again, is hypocrisy and the reason why you must have understanding of what women are doing to you because of these things. My brothers, the understanding of what women are doing to you will lead to the understanding of why and what I have mentioned throughout this podcast of why women do these things to you and why you should not spend time in terms of ruminating of why women are doing things to you, and understand again what women are doing to you, because you will find that the why answer is because of what I have previously mentioned in this podcast that women, whether they are feminist or anti-feminist, all women have the power and the capability to control your life. That is why they do these things to you. That is why these things happen to you. Women have the capability to control every aspect of your life. And it is because, again, of the powers that are afforded to them by the FPS, by feminism, the constructs of the society of which we live in, which is based upon the foundations of the FPS, that all women are right, no matter what. That is why they do these things to you. That is why women can be hypocritical. That is why women can be untrustworthy. That is why, my brothers, no matter what they say, women have the power and the capability to control your life fully in every aspect of your life. They can control your time. They can control your money. They can control how you come and go. Again, that is why, my brothers, women in general do not want men to be MGTOW, because the MGTOW philosophy itself negates that power and control, and it returns the power and control to where it should be, and that is in your hands. That is within your dominion. Again, every aspect of your life can be controlled by a woman, and embracement of the MGTOW philosophy returns every aspect of control back to you. Women do not want us to think for ourselves. For instance, again, you will see the constant regurgitation of our talking points, of what we have to say as men, being thrown back at us from women, hypocritically so, in telling us what our problems are. But yet we are not allowed to critically think and understand that being a MGTOW is one of the best things that could ever happen for a man, because it frees him. It allows him to do things like critically think. It allows him to put himself first in every way possible, because, again, of the ability of a woman to control your life in every way possible. That is why these things happen to you. That is why they use tactics on you. That is why, my brothers, women can tell you that if you do not take them out on a proper date, that they will haul you into court and sue you. That is why, my brothers, they can falsely accuse you of anything and everything under the sun when you are out and about minding your business. That is why they can say that I have to lock that man down, because they have targeted you, because they observed you and found that you had the resources and the money and the capability, that they knew that if they planned everything right, that they could haul you into court and clean your clock, so to speak, in terms of divorce rate. Again, women have the ability to control every aspect of our lives, even to the degree that if you are out in the public and talking alone with another man, you will notice that sooner or later a woman will come by to observe your conversation. That is the type of power and control that women have over our lives. And that is the type of power and control that women of all types do not want to relinquish. And that is why, my brothers, you will see, again, when it comes to things that affect us, like paternity fraud, marriages, that when there are laws made to stop these things, to stop the type of things that happen to us, there's pushback, even from the women that hypocritically say that they are on our side. My brothers, you must consider that the majority of women that are out there, because of the power and capability that is afforded to them, will never be on your side in this lifetime. And you'll find that it is a rare case when you find a woman who will have your back, who is not a hypocrite, who stands by her word. You will find also that that particular woman will go under persecution from, first of all, the feminist plantation state, feminism and also women in general. Again, because women do not want to relinquish the power and the capability to control our lives. My brothers, this is how understanding the what women are doing to you will give you the capability to not ruminate about why women are doing these things. Your understanding of what they are doing to you will lead to, instead of you ruminating, instead of you being concerned about why women are doing these things, and will keep you focused on moving forward into your life after. This is because, again, the aspect of understanding what they are doing to you will enforce boundaries. It will cause you to gatekeep yourself. It will cause you to secure the front and rear door of your life. And it will keep you focused, again, on what you need to be doing as a MGTOW man. And that is maintaining your position on the sure and solid foundation of your freedom, and then concentrating on building the infrastructure of your life upon that sure and solid foundation of your freedom. You will again understand what women are doing to you. And as opposed to ruminating and being concerned about why women are doing those things to you, you will begin to understand why you must do what you need to do as a MGTOW man, that you must go forward, that you must continue to build the infrastructure of your life upon the sure and solid foundation of your freedom. That's what you will understand. And my brothers, lastly, you will see that because of the negation of the power and control over your life that women have, you will see things begin to develop in your life that were incomprehensible, even to the degree that where you once were unable to cook a meal by yourself, you'll find that you have that capability. You'll find that you may have gifts and abilities that in your life before were never possible, but your life after are vastly possible. And that in itself, my brothers, will negate the tendency of rumination, because as you look at your life, as you move forward with your life after, you will see that it is not worth it. It is not worth it to look at the past, and it is well worth it to go forward with your life after. Go forward and discover who you are as a man, as a free man. My brothers, lastly, you will see and understand why it is important for we MGTOW men to walk in integrity. You will understand that the hypocrisy that many women operate under is only devastating them. It is only limiting them. And you will see that walking in integrity with your focus on your life after, on what you should be as a man, will only contribute again to the powerful nature and the profound nature of your freedom, which you are discovering every day that you walk forward along the MGTOW path. And you will discover, despite everything that has happened to you in the life before, that the MGTOW philosophy, embracement of the MGTOW philosophy, although it takes fortitude, although it takes great fortitude, great endurance, it is the best thing that you could ever do as a free man. You will discover that your decision to become a MGTOW man was the best thing that you could ever do as a man. With that, my brothers, I will close this podcast out. But again, my brothers, keep moving forward. Keep your focus on what is yours and what has always belonged to you, and that is your freedom, my brothers. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium podcast. My MGTOW brothers, always remember that you have the right to be free in every way possible, because you are free men.